Hi everyone and welcome to Foundation Friday. I'm super excited for this review today. I managed to get my hands on the brand new foundation from Chanel last week. I've been putting this through its paces over the last 4 days. This is the #1 revitalizing foundation. If you're a regular to my channel, you will know that practically any product from Chanel gives me the feels. So I have to concentrate super hard on being impartial when I am reviewing anything from Chanel because it just gets me excited. This has not been difficult to be impartial with this foundation. So firstly, I would love to thank Francesca at Boots in Meadowhall for showing me around the range. Sometimes a little bit of inside information about what the brand were wanting to focus on when they came up with the product really does help when I come to review. So I really appreciated that. I found it really interesting, really insightful, and to be quite honest, really inspiring. There is nothing Francesca does not know about the Chanel product. So if you are in and about Meadowhall, nip into Boots, tell her I said hi, tell her I sent you. She's just absolutely amazing. So everything in the Chanel No1 collection harnesses the power of red camellia flower extract. It runs all the way through the collection, including in the foundation, in the skincare, in the couple of blushes that I picked up, which are divine, by the way. I'm not going to review these in this video today, but I will be reviewing them a little bit later. And also in their fragrance mist, which, by the way, this is totally divine. It is the finest mist. It's so refreshing, so revitalizing. It's a very, very lightweight fragrance. It's nothing heavy for the evening. It's very daytime, light, invigorating, floral, just whole load of beautifulness. Is that even a word? It is now. It's gorgeous. If you're in the market for a new fragrance, I highly recommend you go to your local Chanel counter and have a spritz. So the entire collection focuses on 3 things. The first one is sustainability. All of the packaging throughout the range is recyclable. The second thing is skincare benefits, whether that be anti-aging skincare benefits or protection skincare benefits, which also adds to anti-aging skincare benefits, I guess, and also naturally sourced ingredients. So 97% of all the ingredients within this bottle are naturally sourced. Another thing that I think is important to mention is that there are no animal-derived ingredients within the entire collection. The collection also hasn't been tested on animals and will not be sold in China. So I've been told. Don't quote me on that, but that is the information that I've been given. I've not been able to find it in any of the bump anywhere, but that's what I've been told, so that's what I'm passing on. So this is the Chanel No1 Revitalizing Foundation. It's £55 in the UK. You get the standard 30ml or 1 fluid ounce, and it comes in 19 shades. I've gone for the shade B10. This gives sheer to medium coverage depending on how you build it up. It is definitely buildable and gives a glowy, dewy finish, which I love, but it's not going to be to everybody's taste. This is a hydrating formula. It's alcohol free. It's also SPF free, but it does contain a fragrance that I don't personally find overwhelming. So if you are sensitive to fragrances in general, you may not be offended by this one. The foundation bottle is a chunky frosted glass. It's simple, it's elegant. It does come with a pump, which I always find is a benefit. The consistency of the foundation is a thick, creamy consistency, which is beautiful on the skin. 1 pump is all you will need for sheer coverage. 2 pumps is what you'll need for a medium coverage, in my experience. You can apply this with your fingertips. In fact, it's actually recommended that you apply this with your fingertips, but I find you get the same result applying this with your fingers as with applying this with a brush. So I'm going to apply half of this with a brush and half of it with a sponge today to show you the difference. You can definitely build the coverage up with this foundation very, very easily. It covers over redness, and as you'll see on the right side of my face, I do have quite a humdinger of a spot in the middle of my cheek. That will really teach me to drink a full bottle of Baileys at the weekend to myself. The sugar does not agree with my skin, what can we say? Anyway, It's got a beautiful illuminating finish on the surface of the skin, which isn't overly dewy at first, but once the natural oils sink into the skin, start to come through the foundation, once it settles into the skin, you get that dewier finish as the day goes on, which is incredibly girly and youthful and flattering on my skin. You are going to get less coverage with a sponge, so if you require less coverage and you don't want to use your fingers, a sponge is definitely the way to go. It's a very even coverage with all application methods. It's a very easy foundation to use. This is the perfect foundation for my dry skin. Even on those dry, flaky skin days, this looked stunning on my skin from first application all the way through to the evening. So as per usual, I like to zhuzh things up a little bit in my reviews. I like to, on day one, wear absolutely no skincare, absolutely no powder, no primers, no setting sprays. This is what it looked like at the end of the day. So you can see that this is super dewy. I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that this is a dewy foundation when you first apply it, and it's definitely dewy by the end of the day. Also, some areas of the foundation had lifted slightly. I do think it's a good idea for me to mention that I was seriously hormonal on this day, and generally my skin's a little oilier when I get hormonal. So after day one of using this, I went away thinking that this was primarily a foundation that was most suited for anybody with dry skin, and those of you with a combination skin probably wouldn't get on with this. So on the day 2 wear test, I really wanted to focus on the longevity of this foundation, whether I could get a little bit more out of it, whether it would do well with a mask. So this is what it looked like at the end of the day after applying a primer, and I also dusted a little bit of powder over the top of this, but not too much to take off that natural dewy sheen off the surface of the skin, but I did apply a setting spray to the surface. This is what it looked like at the end of the day. So you'll notice that my skin is super dewy. Even though it's super dewy, it hasn't lifted throughout the day. I don't feel like this is transferred onto any of my clothes, onto my fingers. It's all still there. It also feels extremely comfortable on the skin. This isn't tacky to the touch at all, which I really like. Usually dewy foundations are a little bit sticky on me. They also don't last the test of time. They just lift off my skin all the way through the day, and by the end of the day, I've got none left on my skin. This is after 10 hours wear, so as you can see, it's all still there, and yeah, still super dewy, still really flattering on my skin if you like that dewy look. I am under no illusion that this foundation is not going to be for everyone, but yeah, I really like it. So let's just touch on wearability. This did not creep into the smile lines around my mouth, which tend to be my problem area for the main reason that it's really dry around here, and because it's really dry around here, foundation gets trapped in that, really sucked in, and it starts to look a little nasty around that area by the end of the day. That did not happen with this foundation. It just looked absolutely lush all day on my dry skin. Even on my oilier areas between my brows, it still looked perfection. So even though I got really good wear out of this, a good 10 hours wear on day 2 when I had the powder and the setting spray over this, I still don't think this is going to be for anybody with an oily skin. I think this would be way too shiny, and it's probably one of those foundations that you're going to want to steer yourself away from if you don't like that shiny look. It is really beautiful on my dry skin, and I do think that anybody with a normal skin or a semi-oily skin will probably be able to get away with this, but it is one of those foundations that is a personal preference sort of thing. It wears beautifully. If you like dewy skin, you're going to love it. If you don't, you really are going to hate it. So I haven't really had to faff around with my skincare, my SPF, the powders, the primers to get this foundation to work for me. Yes, I found it worked better in my oilier areas once my oily areas had been powdered, and a little bit of setting spray on there, mainly for wearing a mask on the school run. This didn't lift at all once I set it in place with with a setting spray. I will list all the products I think go really well with this, the ones that I personally use, in the description box for everybody. If you want to check that out, you're very welcome to. But yeah, I just use my normal stuff and it worked beautifully. So if you've not guessed already, I've really loved wearing this foundation. This is one of those spring, summer, really lightweight foundations that just looks super flattering, but it definitely looks dewy. In fact, when I went on the school run yesterday, one of my friends mentioned that my skin looked really beautiful and dewy. Usually I don't get any mentions on there, which really says to me that this looked really dewy on my skin. Anyway, I've really loved wearing this. I'm actually quite sad that the wear tests are over for this and I have to pass it on to my mum to try. But yeah, I think I already know what she's going to think about this. But we will see. I really hope you've enjoyed this review. Let me know what you've thought about it in the comment section. Is a dewy skin your cup of tea? Does this really spark your attention? Or are you like, no, that's not coming anywhere near me? Do let me know in the comment section. Regardless of whether you think the foundation is for you, I highly recommend going and checking out the collection because it is stunning. Especially this little number. I'm gonna have another spray. I could literally sit here and spray myself with this all day, just breathing it in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.